Hi, I'm Micah Clark. It's great to have you with us today. This is a recap of the first week of the Indiana General Assembly. You may have read last week that this is going to be a short session. I probably said that too. They may not do any big controversial issues, but for what we care about, there's always issues that come up. There's still hundreds of bills we've not yet seen released publicly, but we already had a week full of committee hearings. I was there on a Wednesday for about 5 hours testifying on two different bills in the Senate Judiciary Committee. I'll talk about those, but I want to focus on the House real quickly on a bill that I was watching, couldn't testify on because of other meetings, but you probably may have heard about this. Although news media today, you're not going to get much coverage on what's going on in the State House. It's kind of a wasteland. But there was a bill that made the news in some circles. Many of you are aware of computer-generated issues. You've heard a lot about artificial intelligence, AI. Under current Indiana law, there are laws making it illegal to distribute pornographic images, particularly to minors, but also without consent of other people. Some people call it revenge porn, sending pornographic pictures of somebody to unsolicited, that type of thing. So in that section of the code, House Bill 1147 was considered yesterday, and it added to that section to make it illegal to distribute images, pornographic images. It added into that code AI-generated issues or computer-generated issues where somebody could take your face, put it on another body, and send that to somebody without your knowledge, without your consent. It's something we have to think about in the day of AI, where images can be created to make people look naked or another fact. And in fact, there's another bill. It's not up yet, but they probably will address it, which would address computer-generated or AI things in campaigns where an opponent might take someone's voice and make a speech they didn't make, or turn the AI into images or things like that. So it's to protect people or facsimiles of people through computers, and also to prevent people from receiving pornography that's computer generated but looks just like regular pornography, has all the same harms of it. So that bill passed 10-0. I think it will easily pass the House. Flew out of committee, and you'll see that going to the Senate when they cross over on bills. I don't think there's any way that bill will fail in the House, but we'll see. Nothing's ever guaranteed. But when I was in the Senate yesterday, I testified on two bills, actually on Wednesday, in the Senate Judiciary Committee. The first bill I want to mention is Senate Bill 46. This is a parental rights bill. 19 states have laws like this. 4 states passed a law like this last year. The first law I'm aware of is in West Virginia, passed in 1973. It requires the government to respect the rights of parents to direct the upbringing of their child, the healthcare decisions for their child, and the education for their child. It requires the state to balance those issues with government interests and take the least restrictive means of achieving a goal without harming parental rights. It also allows a parent to sue the state or county or municipal government if their rights were violated. Of course, they have to have a case, but it does give them some legal redress that they don't have right now. So again, 19 states have laws like this. The first time I ever dealt with this issue was in 1995, and this bill actually passed the Senate at that time and made it partially through the House, but didn't to the final days of the session. So this is not a new concept. And now the Senate didn't vote on this in the Judiciary Committee on Wednesday. They're bringing it back next week. They're going to offer some amendments to address some concerns regarding public immunity for like judges, police officers, acting in good faith in the line of duty, or DCS workers. But it does give parental rights that are much needed. Recognizing those is important. So we'll see what happens. Kind of think it'll pass, but I'm not sure. I'll be back next week and watch and see how they vote on that and what amendments they offer to Senate Bill 46. Now, the last bill I want to mention today is Senate Bill 17. I've discussed this in my email several times because there's, I think now, 5 or 6 different bills almost identical to this. I expect the House to pass a version as well because they've got 4 different versions over there. But what this bill simply says is It requires an adult website to do age verification, to have some type of age verification system so that minors are not viewing pornography. Now, the debate on this was intense. I got hammered a lot with questions, got me worked up, but it was kind of fun. But thankfully, the bill passed 10-0. There will be some amendments offered on the floor, but of course, the ACLU hates it. They believe pornography is something adults should access. Everybody says, kids shouldn't have this, but they don't want to do anything about it, and that's the problem. And they threatened a lawsuit. And they talked about how Texas's law is held up in the lawsuit. Of course, there's 6 other states that have done this. In Utah, in Mississippi, I think Tennessee, these laws are in place. And if legislators don't act based on a threat of a lawsuit, they won't pass anything. So I think this is a worthwhile thing. I talked to several legislators beforehand who've actually asked questions about this in their mail. Many of you have probably gotten mail from your legislator with a survey. Several legislators have asked about this, and it's overwhelmingly in support. Parents want to protect children from pornographic images, pornographic videos. They don't want their kids to be able to go online and see this. Someone hammered me about, well, aren't you concerned about information being out there? Well, your information's already out there if you shop online. If you have a smartphone, smart TV, the reality is your information's out there. I don't think it's too much of a burden to ask somebody to verify their age to look at pornography. Pornography is not a public good. This is not something that we can't restrict and cause problems in doing so. So particularly when the matter concerns protecting young children. So the bill passed 10-0. It will go to the Senate floor next week and probably be picked up where there'll be some amendments probably offered by people who aren't comfortable with this, people on the left. The Democrats spoke against this bill quite a lot, but at the end, they all voted for it. And so I'll be honest, some people talk out of both sides of their mouth on this. They say they want to protect children, but many of them don't want to do anything enough that actually would protect children. I believe this bill would protect children, and so I hope it moves forward. Now, there is a version in the House that's a little stronger that I prefer out of all the other 4 or 5. It's House Bill 1063. If the House moves a bill, I hope it's 1063. If you make a phone call to your state representative, talk about House Bill 1063, because the penalties in that bill are higher than they are in Senate Bill 17. It's a $1,000 fine and a right for a parent to sue the pornographic company or the website operator. But in the House version, there's some powers given to the Attorney General, which are good, and the fine is also $5,000. I mean, frankly, a $1,000 fine sounds like a lot to you and me. For a porn company making hundreds of millions of dollars, it's nothing. But the purpose of this bill is to get the pornographic companies, the websites, to clean up their act and to protect children through age verification software, through either a third party or one they use themselves, to make sure a minor doesn't enter those sites and view things that are very harmful to them. So pray about those bills. Keep an eye on those. As always, our Wednesday email covers legislation and will throughout the session. So if you're not on our weekly email list, or if you'd like to tell others about that, you can go to our website and sign up for that. But then we'll have that down below in the link as well, if you'd like to sign up there or encourage people to sign up for our weekly email. But again, thank you. It was the first week of the session. It was busy, and I expect next week will be too. Again, there's hundreds of bills to be filed we've not seen yet, all sorts of issues. You can look at that at iga.in.gov or Google Indiana General Assembly. And you can also find your legislator there, find out who they are. You can email or call them through that link directly to their office. So I encourage you to make your voices heard on issues that concern you. But I appreciate your support for Senate Bill 17, House Bill 1063, and also 1147, which I think is going to move, but also in particular, Senate Bill 46. There's some opposition to this, and that's the parental rights bill. It's very important that we move this. So I would encourage you to call your state senator, encourage them to support Senate Bill 46, protect parental rights in Indiana. Well, I'm Micah Clark. Thank you for joining us today. Hope you have a wonderful weekend and join us next week. Thank you.